uh, tell them a lot what to do, but if anybody remembers from our lectures that I was saying, if you want to help the South African, then you help him become wealthy. You move up, I don't know if anybody remembers that, and then you bring him up so that he has something to hold on to. You teach him how to. I said, you have to sit there with him because he's an African. I wasn't down on Africans, but I said, you have to sit there with that boy and make sure this money that you're getting in from your store today is your store. It's not to spend. You have to buy new stuff. Because a nigga would think, this money coming in, I'll spend it. Right? And then he can't buy nothing new. When that's gone, the store is empty, the business is gone. So the Indian has to sit there with him for a long time, maybe months, maybe years, till it's dug in that you don't spend no money on yourself for at least 5 or 10 go-rounds. You spend money on your property. You build it up. And you expand. And so this is what I was telling the brothers that they have to do with the African. In the meantime, the African is beating this guy. When I would go to South Africa, every time I'd see some guy with big bandages on, they was beating them and kidnapping them, and then you tell them you should help them. And they was thinking, we spent all our money and time to break down apartheid, and now they're beating us and they're doing this. I said, well, you don't have but certain things you can do. You can leave them alone and they'll just beat you more and steal more. Because the police now is Negroes. Their cousin is the Negro captain chief of police. I said, and y'all are not smart. What do you mean we're not smart? We do what we can. I say, when I come here, finally I tell them, when I realized it was when I was there years ago, before I was leaving, I was going to give one of the servants $50, the one that took care of the children, the other servant that helped cook $50, and the other servant that cleaned, because the wealthy people had a different servant to do all that stuff. So I was there a long time, so I said, I'm going to give them 50 American dollars, because I didn't have no change. Don't do that, don't do that. And these are the richest people in South Africa. Give it to us, and we'll give it to them. So I said, okay, here you go. I'm sure you give it to them. I didn't do it anymore, though. Why would they get robbed and beat upside the head? Number one, they're hiring people that still have the old system. Hire everybody from the neighborhood, from the township. And the girls that clean up the house got a brother, a cousin, a uncle, and everybody else. And the girl tells them they got this, that, and they was robbing them blind. I mean, and beating them, and they knew almost where to look. They knew where to look. They was, and hey man, it was unfair. But they wouldn't listen to us. And me, when I would be in one of the townships, and I'd be or in the Muslim area, I would always be waving at some of the sisters that worked in the house, because they would change jobs sometime. But they always remembered me. Why? Because I'd leave them something. I'd leave them. It wouldn't be nothing to me. Say I leave them $20. That's a month's salary. Probably not paying them no more than that. I know they were. You know what I mean? And they would, that's a Negro doing that. Some of their own people. That's why I wanted to do it, because nobody was traveling with us would even think like that. But I'm just thinking, hey, you want to get people to remember you? You leave them something, they'll sure remember you. And I'm telling you, I could go right down the street right now and Lodium or anywhere else, and they'll remember as many years ago as that was. But also, I would take care of myself though. I mean, they wouldn't have to wash my clothes, but that's what they were there for. Oh, you wash it? I said, oh, I wash my own clothes. I put them out on the line. I don't need nobody. You know where we are. I don't need no. And the sisters would see that, and they said, these niggas is different than you know. They was thinking, well, if I was staying here, I'd sure have them wash my clothes or me wash. Anyway, we made friends with all the people. And even our Indian friends, they couldn't get it. They didn't understand what was going on. I used to watch the sisters. They'd get one day off, and maybe it'd be Saturday evening. They would be getting a Sunday off, and they'd be in the back, and the lady would be driving them to their township and everything. And you should see them girls, boy, they would have a grin on their, they're like they're getting out of the penitentiary. And the people should think that they should be happy to work here for us. They wasn't happy at all. They just had to do it. And right? See, I'm just trying to say, I don't want to take all the time, but our people don't understand nothing. They don't understand nothing. And they definitely didn't understand, hey, you take a little bit of money and help them. If it's somebody's birthday or somebody, you know, hook them up. They were still had an apartheid mentality. Like, we want you guys to have your freedom and everything, but we'll get you lawyers, all that stuff, but as far as a big super salary where you can take care of your family and all of that, we ain't about that. We're still stingy Indians. You know, I mean, if they come here for an Islamic program, we're going to spoil them to death and feed them to death. But in sharing this wealth, and that's why the brothers was robbing, they was robbing our brothers so much. It was like, it was sad. And so the brothers had a little change of policy. The brothers from Malawi was Muslims. And of course the South Africans, the Xhosas, and you know, everything else, you know. And so the Muslims started hiring mostly Muslims, which were nicer, but they were foreigners. And when you would go to the Masjid, I started seeing, oh, everybody's African, but all these doers that they know from South Africa, Indian, da 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 da, these guys know them good, and they're leading the prayers, they're doing everything. But they're not South Africans. And South Africans are mad at people from Nigeria, Malawi, foreigners coming in here taking our stuff, coming in here taking our job. So the brothers are not stupid, but they don't get it. They're African, but hey, don't nobody, Africans refer to, if you read the books, they refer to each tribe as races. That's that race, that's this race. We just say, oh yeah, everybody's black. They're a different tribe, and they're different. They got different language, different customs, da 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 da, and we got to have some special agreement for us to work together. For them, oh, everybody's African. This is crazy. Okay, nobody wanted to pay attention to us. Finally, they're coordinated with California. They're coordinated with Zafar and them up there, they're coordinated with Great Britain because the great project of Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui fell through because they wouldn't follow it up. I said, what are we going to do with Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's? Well, we're going to do something else. Institute of Contemporary Islamic Thought. I said, that ain't nothing. Hell, what about Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui's non-territorial government and all of that stuff? They didn't do it. You notice they didn't do that. They put their foot on it and stopped it. And they brought out all the fitna. That's when I realized that everybody was the police. Everybody. When I say everybody, that's what I mean. I said, man, that's cold-blooded. I said, not only they was trying to work Dr. Siddiqui to death so he would die. And he died. And that great institution that he put together, no, we're going to do something else. And they had it sabotaged. You couldn't do anything about it. I was trying to do the best I can, but I'm from over here, and I couldn't. And then they stopped me from even going over there, Stop that nigga from going over there because he can come over here. He can raise enough. That's why they stopped that nigga. You came over here talking that trash. Because when I was over there in 2006, the time before that, by 2008, don't let that nigga back no more. Because he's letting out all of these things. He knows what happened. And anyway, this is a dirty thing. Okay, so here it is, boss man. So you get your nice rest. That we just need $1 million to get our stuff going right now. But this thing on $500 million is negotiable because it sounds like a lot of money to you, but inflation is going on. We started at 300 million, now we're up at 500 million. Because we cannot do anything close to something that would be beneficial without that type of stuff. And just because you look and you say, well, you're not worth that, nigga. Well, we are worth that. We're worth more than that. We're just trying to be reasonable with your behind. And another thing, boss man, if you haven't figured it out yet, you're on the way out. And we've asked you and coddled you and tried to get you to cooperate, and you're not in a cooperative mood. And some kind of way, you done got so thick-headed and stupid. May I remind you, your president that can't remember what day it is going around and like the niggas on Thorazine, Prolixo, right? If you sit there too like he been taking dope, I'm just telling you, it ain't us. Everybody sees that, right? It's like a joke. Respect what? You'll be going down and you're going to get it. Don't nobody respect. Look, like the scriptures are right. And all of the stuff it predict, the fall of Babylon. And one day, the great Babylon, it wasn't one day, it was a long period of time that all of a sudden, whoosh, that's where it's headed now. Everything is pointed that way. Okay, we're not trying to interfere with the process of history, but we have made some general studies, and we came to the conclusion that when the thing crashes, the poor will get crushed first. The rich gonna fall on top of them, and they gonna cushion the fall for the rich folks. That's a general pattern of history. It's not anything new. The Negroes at the bottom, our friends, our relatives, our family, they're going first. And the big rich, when they fall, they're going to fall on top of them and cushion the fall. Okay. So, we want to help. That's exactly what we want to do. And we're just starting with $500 million. I was going to show you all these pictures. All these people, your friends, there's Mukhtar right there. There's the dumb police, and here I am. This stuff is, I'm not mad about that. I'm glad because it gives a chance to show you how stupid y'all are. That's how stupid y'all are. Getting busted upside the head like this.